Women are simply amazing, great nurturers who spend most of their time, energy, and thought juggling life and family. Women are refreshing wells of courage and warmth. Up you, woman! Now is the time to find and identify your true self. Become the best you. Live your true purpose. Up You with Ezinne helps you begin the journey, empowers you with hope and inspiration. Tune in to Up You with Ezinne Kufre Kanem every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Up You with Ezinne will help you stand up, speak up, shake up, soak up, scale up, and serve up. It's 4 p.m. every Saturday on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Up You with Ezinne, finding self, finding purpose. YouTube page, Up You with Ezinne. So please, if you missed it live, go on over there and catch it. Okay? So our topic today, like I said, is a deep question. Woman, what is your excuse? What is your excuse? But first of all, let us even define what is an excuse. And by the way, just to remind you, we're streaming on Instagram at Up You with Ezinne, on Facebook at WFM 91.7, and at Radio Garden. So what is your excuse? And what is an excuse? You know, those things we say to use and dodge from doing some things. You know, like, I would have done this, but for this, had it been I was born with a silver spoon, I would have done this. You know, if I wasn't fat, dark, tall, cross-eyed, I would have been famous. I would have been living my dreams and all of that. You know, we because I didn't go to school, you know, we all make those excuses. I don't know which one is yours, but, you know, we make those excuses. and we all have them. It's okay every now and then, but it's not okay to have excuses cripple us and then keep us down. So excuses have been there from time immemorial. We all remember this classical one. It is the woman you gave me, and I'm sure we know, give me porridge. Who cares about birthright? Just give me porridge. I'm famished. And then we know, am I my brother's keeper? All those things are excuses. They're excuses that we make to keep from doing things. But while we are making these excuses, some other persons are climbing on top of these excuses. They're ditching them and they are rising above them and they're going ahead and doing things. Ordinarily, one would think and sometimes expect that someone living with one form of disability or the other will be full of excuses and not rise up to live their life of their dreams. Many people with disabilities or who are differently abled, that is the term I actually prefer, are not living their dreams due to socioeconomic and political barriers. But there are yet many others who have surmounted these obstacles to live the lives they have always hoped for. We all know of the Paralympics who have won over 34 medals for the country. We all know of Lois Uta, who incidentally is my colleague on the technical committee for the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. It's on history that she is the first lady who is differently abled, who has run for a political office in this country, and her slogan is, "From where I stand, disability will not stop me from achieving my dreams." And she's standing, seated on her wheelchair. And there are many, many more women like her who are not making excuses, who are going ahead and living their lives, even though they have one form of disability or another. Our guest today is one of such persons. If you're just joining us, this is Up You with Ezinne on WFM 91.7, and the topic on the burner is woman. What is your excuse?
Women are simply amazing. Great nurturers who spend most of their time, energy, and thought juggling life and family. Women are refreshing wells of courage and warmth. Up you, woman! Now is the time to find and identify your true self. Become the best you. Live your true purpose. Up You with Ezinne helps you begin the journey, empowers you with hope and inspiration. Tune in to Up You with Ezinne Kufre Kanem every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Up You with Ezinne will help you stand up, speak up, shake up, soak up, scale up, and serve up. It's 4 p.m. every Saturday on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Up You with Ezinne, finding self, finding purpose.
See the stars coming down from the sky. I hear a sound of a mighty rain coming. I see great leaders emerge like soldiers. Our flag will find the world cold. The sky is white, the crosses are green. The world is full of Africa. Yes, we can, sure we can change the world. Yes, we can, sure we can change Africa. It go happen,
Miss Wheelchair Nigeria, Grace Jerry. A beauty queen, no doubt, with brains, and so much energy. See, I believe her. It go happen. It go really happen if we ditch the excuses. What you believe will find expression somehow. It was such a pleasure to find Grace. It was such a pleasure to also know that she's a good musician. Thank you, Grace. May we all become what we believe. If you're just joining us, this is Up You with Ezinne on WFM 91.7, finding self, finding purpose. And joining me via the telephone is Ihuoma Sussan Kelechi. She holds a BSc and PGD genetic counseling from the University of Lagos, an OND computer science from Yaba Tech. Ihuoma is a polio survivor. Let me call her Sussan. Sussan is an epitome of productivity in disability, proving that disability isn't a barrier or an excuse for laxity or sloppiness of any kind. She's diligent with an impeccable punctuality record to work, task, assignments, events, and she's won several awards in this respect. Her resilience to survive in an environment where there are no jobs, even for persons living without disability, led her to volunteer with Lagos State government in the health and educational sectors, where she served meritoriously for 7 years. Kelechi is a voice in the advocacy for persons with disability, especially vulnerable girls and women who might not be able to speak for themselves. In her words, she says, "We rise by lifting others." A true Nigerian, she speaks the 3 major languages, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba fluently, and will soon add sign language to her feathers. She's a proud volunteer with Speaking Fingers Network, where she serves as technical advisor. Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, a platform she has leveraged to gather value-added experiences from various lifelong training and workplace inclusion advocacy within and outside the country. She's the Director of Programs for Network of Disabled Women in Nigeria and Executive Director of Sussan's Unique Oasis Foundation, a legacy she hopes will outlive her in advocacy. And somebody dares call her disabled? I say differently abled, please. Dear listeners, please join me to welcome our special guest this afternoon, Kelechi Ihuoma Sussan. Good evening, Sussan. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Good evening, Ezinne. Good evening, listeners. Good evening, everyone. It's good to be here.
Honestly, it's good to have you, my unique Susie, like I like to call you, my Amazon, the phenomenal Sussan. It's good to have you today.
Thank you so much.
How was your week?
Very well, thank God.
Okay. And how are you enjoying the weekend?
I'm trying to rest, at least from all the jobs going up and down. I'm trying to rest and cool off.
Okay. All right. So we'll make this nappy so that you can still get to enjoy your rest, right?
No problem at all, no problem.
All right, Sussan, I've been following you for quite a time, and I've just always wondered, how does she do all of this? We all have 24 hours. How does this young lady get so much done and is still doing so much? I'm kind of in awe of you, and I keep saying to myself, I keep making excuses. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. No, but you just keep biting. Even with your opening statement now, you said you want to rest from all the jobs, and people are commenting that they don't have jobs, and you have all the jobs. Sussan, please tell me about yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Ezinne. Now you're making me blush. Well. Okay. So Sussan is a polio survivor, like you rightly said. Mm-hmm. I am the first of 5 children, and I had polio. I was not born with polio. Mm-hmm. I had polio when I was 3 years plus. Mm-hmm. Because I did not get vaccines. I was born in the north. I was born in Kano, to be precise. Okay. And so I didn't get the vaccine for poliomyelitis. And so 3 years plus down the line, I fell ill. I was taken to a general hospital where I was given injection, and within the next or less than 24 hours, I lost my legs. I couldn't use my legs anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yes. That is, in a nutshell, what happened. Like, we went to church. Of course, I went to pre-nursery like Friday. Mm-hmm. And on Sunday, we went to church, came back. I was down with fever. We went to the hospital. And by the time I was given that injection and all, by the time we got home, my mom said she just wanted me to sleep and rest. Mm-hmm. And so by the next morning, she wanted me to be up early so she could give me a bath and then feed me before I go to school. Unfortunately, I couldn't stand anymore. And so that was where my journey with polio started. In Kano State. Yes.
Oh, dear. So, you were born normal. This happened to you at about 3 years plus?
Yes.
Wow. But we thank God that you survived.
Absolutely.
And we thank God that He has nothing on your spirit.
By God's grace, yes, God is helping me.
I just learned now that you're the first of 5 children.
Yes.
Okay, so does any other person in the family have polio?
No.
You're just the only one?
Nobody.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
You're the unique one?
Yeah, by God's grace.
Okay. All right, so my next question to you, naturally, as a follow-up of the first one is, did polio leave you with any lasting aftermath? And how have you been coping with it?
Wow. It's the aftermath for me would be, yes, now I am strong, I am an advocate and all of that, but it didn't start that way.
Mm-hmm.
I had my days where I stayed in isolation. I had my days where I just went into my shell because of a lot of discrimination. We know what it is. You understand that you move about differently. You have certain pains you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you make up and you're looking all beautiful and all, there are certain pains.
And I must
you can't
cut in,
come out
you're
to tell
actually
the
a
world.
beauty. You are beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, please go on.
So there are certain things you don't come out to tell the world that this, but in reality, you need certain level of therapy because we are looking at post-polio syndrome, which is what is even much more important. And of course, this is Nigeria. We don't have any form of social protection at all. To say maybe if you need medications, if you need to see a physiotherapist or whatever, how do you cope, especially when the weather is cold, when all your joints are aching and you have to depend solely on analgesic to step out of the house each day. And maybe I might be a facilitator somewhere, or I might have somewhere that I have to go for an advocacy and all of that. I just have to come out smiling and all of that. I'm not going to go there and tell them, oh, my legs are hurting, or oh, this is happening. So it has its own shortcomings, if I may put it that way. It actually has its own, but each day we just come out to tell the world that, yes, I'm here and my dreams are valid, polio or not, I'm a survivor.
My God, I like that. I like that last statement. Every day, despite the pain, you come out every day to tell the world, yes, I'm here, my dreams are valid, I'm a polio survivor. Kelechi, I salute you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I salute you because, I mean, there are lots of people who don't even have the pain that you have, but yet they are not doing half of what you're doing. So I salute you that your spirit is really great. It's a great one. It's a great spirit that is on the inside of you, and you realize this and you just keep going every day. All right?
Absolutely.
I'm even questioning myself right now. I'm questioning.
You don't need to.
I'm questioning myself.
You don't need to. You're doing amazing.
No, I'm questioning myself as in someone is carrying all this pain and still able. Okay, let's just keep going. So with all these accomplishments that you have done, you've learned how to speak Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, you're adding sign language. I know you're learning all these things so that you can be able to keep advocating for the people that you advocate for. And then you've gone to school, you've learned counseling. It means that you're actually trying to get people to be emotionally stable, to be able to cope with their lives and, their particular issues, for lack of a better word. So are there women that have inspired you? Did you find any inspiration or, in our climb that pushes you, urges you to just keep going, in all of these times? What really was the breaking point where you said, you know what, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to stop making excuses and I'm going to find my greatness? What was your inspiration?
Now, first and foremost, the greatest person who has ever inspired me, may God rest her soul, is Pastor Bimbo Dukoya.
Amen.
I was always watching singles and married, and she had a lot. Looking back at those years, I learned so much, and having to learn those things and reading. I read from Maya Angelou. And so these women had different things going for them. And so when I listened to Pastor Bimbo using the word of God as a yardstick, I had to ask myself, you can't keep staying in isolation, keep putting yourself in a box. Yes, people, we understand the fact that we live in a patriarchal society. This is Africa, this is Nigeria, where women face triple jeopardy, whether we believe it or not. We face triple jeopardy, especially women with disabilities. So during my university years as an undergraduate, after going through my challenges in Yabate, because I had my OND before going further to University of Lagos for my first degree. And so I had to look at myself. I saw all the challenges I had to go through daily. Though I must say that University of Lagos is one of the most inclusive universities you can think about for any person living with a disability.
Yay, you guys heard it first from Kelechi. So if you're looking to go to a uni, University of Lagos is so inclusive.
Very, very inclusive. So by the time even with the inclusive state, I still knew that there were so many challenges. So the breaking point for me where I had to just stand up was when I did my project. I had to do a project on the challenges because I knew that going for my lectures and everything, even within the campus, was a huge challenge for me. Yeah. Of course, I don't have a car and all of that. So I had to work on the level of accessibility to persons with disability, both in University of Lagos and our campus at Diaraba, where we have the medical school. It was the first of its kind, of course. Nobody had worked on it. Nobody was looking in that direction. But I wanted to know how it affects our level of education and how productive we go in our academics based on our level of accessibility. Yeah. So that was where I had to have an interactive session with different persons with disability in the main campus and in Diaraba. And that actually gave me strength to say, okay, I can still keep firing on even after school.
Well done, Kelechi. Well done. Honestly, sincerely, well done. So what I'm hearing here is you had very strong women role models, like the two you mentioned, and so from them you drew strength. And then when you were doing your project, you interviewed other people and then you saw their shortcomings and everything, and you drew strength because there was something that was ignited in you to do well and be able to speak for them. Just about now, I'm going to open the phone lines because this conversation is very deep. If you've been listening to Up You with Ezinne, you see that my voice is not as vibrant as it usually is. That's because Kelechi is touching me to my core. But let's do this as well. So I'm opening the phone lines right now. The numbers to call are 07000 917 917. 090-256-25455. The number to text is 070-317-56537. Dear listeners, please call in and let's encourage Kelechi and make this interactive. Okay? So Kelechi, I'm back to you now, yeah? I see that you volunteered. When I read your CV, I was like, what is she talking about? You went like in a place where there's even no work for the people who are even able, not to mention the people who are disabled. You decided you were not going to wait around and wait for anybody to be tossing you up and down. So you decided to volunteer your time and your talents. That spoke volumes about the kind of person you are, because most people now would rather not even work, and then when they're not even getting the job anyway, they won't even volunteer. But you decided, I'm going to be productive, and you volunteered for Lagos State in the health and the education sector, and you did that diligently for 7 years and even won awards. That is very commendable.
Thank you.
Why did you do that? Why did you volunteer? And what did you learn from volunteering? And would you advise other people to do the same thing?
Okay, thank you so much. The truth is, just like I said, because whatever I write is who I am. We know what the society is. We know the rate of unemployment. And because I'm a person with disability, I've gone through several discrimination, stigmatization, and all. I've applied online for jobs. And, they have so much to say, and they invite me physically. And by the time I get to the venue, once I step in, their face drops. Their face drops because instead of speaking to me, having interactions to know the value I'm bringing to that organization, they are looking at my legs. My legs are bent because of polio. My legs has nothing to do with the potential that God has given to me. My legs has nothing to do with the advocacy I have to give. My legs has nothing to do with what I have to do within and outside the shores of Nigeria. Who knows? There might be a child whose parents lock up inside the house because they think that child is not productive, because they think that person cannot amount to anything. Now, I'm not speaking just to persons with disability. I'm even speaking on a general basis. So many people just withdraw into their shells. So I look at myself, and mind you, Ezinne, I just survived an accident at the time. A life-threatening accident that even made me, my hands, I had to learn how to use my walking sticks that I use. In fact, that is a story for another day. Let me not go into that at all.
Wow.
So by the time I recuperated, I looked at myself and I was wondering. I was trying to send CVs and here and there, and the discrimination and everything was everywhere. It was staring at me in the face. And because I was not ready to back off, I was not ready to step down, my parents were also helpful. My mom went to work, got a newspaper and came home with it. I was like, because she called me sister. So she came home and she gave me the paper. Said, sister, look at that opportunity I see there. There's this volunteer stuff, for teachers in Lagos State. Maybe you should even try that. And I applied. Of course, they didn't see me. I applied online and all of that. And when it was time, I went. And I was the only lady. It's a World Bank assisted project. I was the only, it's the Lagos volunteer teaching scheme that was ongoing at the time. So I was able to get the job, and good for me, they posted me within my local government of residence here in Lagos, which is Koshofe. Now, being my local government of residence, you know how it is to leave Ojota and get to Maryland. I was saddled with the responsibility of crossing the roads, taking public transport, and all of that. But Ezinne, I had to validate myself. I had to put myself out there. Nobody will come into my father's house to know that I am a graduate. Nobody will come into my father's house to say, oh, she's a good teacher or she's good at this or that. So I had to put myself out there, and I'm encouraging everybody to put yourself out there. Nobody will know your value except you say, I am there. I have this to bring to the table, and that was exactly what I did between 2010 to 2016.
Well done.
As a volunteer teacher.
Well done. Well done. Two things I'm taking out of what you just said now. Nobody will know you're there, and nobody will know your value except if you put yourself out there. And the second one is polio doesn't affect someone's brain. It's just the person's legs. It's mobility. And so disability doesn't mean that the person is not productive. We have to look beyond the physical. My dear listeners, everybody out there, we have to look beyond the physical, because Kelechi has a lot to give, and other people like Kelechi have a lot to give. If you're just joining us, this is Up You with Ezinne on WFM 91.7, and the topic on the burner is woman. What is your excuse? Brenda Fassi with the energy. Fierce African sister. Keep resting in power. Is this same energy that our guest today possesses? Is it not the same 24 hours? How does she do it? Wow. I'm awed. Well, anyway, welcome back, my queens. I hope you have your pads and your pens. I hope you're jotting down the nuggets that Kelechi is dishing out to us. And please start getting your questions ready. In case you're just joining us, this is Up You with Ezinne. The phone lines are still open. The numbers to call are 07000 917 917. 090-256-25455. The number to text is 070-317-56537. Kelechi, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okie dokie. I have some questions for you already from the WhatsApp platform. My people, don't waste time. They're already throwing it at you. So, okay, just before we go there, there's a call. So we take the call first.
Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Ezinne.
Good evening. How do you do? May I know your name and where you're calling from? Good evening. May I know your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, my name is Frank. I'm calling from Abule right now.
Okay, Frank, you're our first caller today, and so I'm giving you the...
I want to say good evening to Kelechi.
Kelechi, can you hear Frank? He's saying hello to you.
I admire your courage, I admire your strength.
Hello, Frank. Good to have you. Thank you for joining me.
You are not the one. We are not the one encouraging you. I'm able, let me use the word, I'm able-bodied, but you just give me encouragement that even I can't find among my able-bodied colleagues. So you see, you are the one encouraging us. I salute your courage and I salute your strength. You are indeed a woman of value and a woman of valor. And I pray that God will continue to strengthen you far more. You said things that ordinarily I don't even look at. I say I'm making. So, you know, disability is not the thing of, it's the thing of the mind.
Frank, I wish you could see me. I'm actually dancing here because I feel you. I understand where you're coming from.
It's a thing of the mind. It's because you say somebody is disabled and look at what she's achieving. You look at you that you say you are able, then what have you achieved?
Bam.
What have you really achieved? So she's not disabled. I believe we are the ones that are disabled because we've not done anything. As in Kelechi, more strength, more vigor, and continue to be out there for us. Because we need people like you. We so-called able-bodied, we need people like you to remind us that we need to do much more for ourselves. I say God bless you.
Amen. Thank you, Frank. And that's why I say that differently abled. That was Kelechi. You heard all that, right?
Clearly.
Please don't get emotional on me already. That was Frank echoing or mirroring my thoughts exactly. I'm thinking, wow. Thank God somebody else is feeling it. So, I mean, I'm not crazy like that, yeah? Okay, so a question from WhatsApp. Over 1 billion people are estimated to have to be disabled all over the world or have one form of disability or the other. In Nigeria, we hear over 10 million people. What do you think?
We are over 31 million.
Over 31 million. This person, Lola, is writing from Arepo. So Lola actually said 10 million. Okay, so Lola, the right figure is over 31 million. This person is killing my question. Okay, but I will just let her since she asked it. What do you think the government can do better? Lola from Arepo.
Thank you so much, Lola, for that question. And yes, we are over 31 million persons with disability. The word is persons with disability. Now, in Nigeria just signed the National Disability Act in 2019, which is barely 2 years this year. So, and in Lagos State in particular, we have the Lagos State Special People's Law, which has marked 10 years, which is a law that protects our rights as persons with disability. Now, for the National Disability Act, the most important thing that the government can do for us and should be doing for us as persons with disability is help us implement this act. If they implement it, all areas, both health, education, employment, aviation, and what have you, persons with disabilities would live productive life. We will thrive independently. That is the most important thing. We have a National Commission for Persons with Disability. Let them support them. Let them monitor and evaluate to see that what we have in the Act is what is being implemented for persons with disability. That is the only thing the government can do to help us lead productive lives. Thank you.
And this is why Lois Otter ran for a position to be able to sit down and ensure inclusion for persons with disability. Okay, so the next question from Shola in Ikeja is, did you feel like throwing in the towel on life and your future at some point before now?
Thank you, Lala, for joining in. The answer is yes. I am human. I have blood and water flowing through my veins. The fact that I sound strong, the fact that I am stronger by the day, it's a product of each day reassuring myself and reaffirming the word of God concerning my life and concerning why that single injection that disfigured my leg did not take my life. So it's not as if I've not had it to some point where I feel, oh God, why me? I have that. But in the midst of it all, I find a way to bring in the word of God that has reassured me over the years that I can do all things. It didn't say some things. The fact that it covered all things through Christ that strengthens me is enough for me. And it tells me that no matter what polio does, that I would find a way to do all things according to Christ who strengthens me daily. Thank you.
I need to call on Frank again. I hope he's still listening. Because honestly, Frank, I'm sitting on the edge of my chair. Apparently, Kelechi is talking to us. Kelechi is saying that it's a daily thing to reaffirm yourself. It's something you do daily. So there's no space for I want to give up. It might come up, but you just say to yourself, you know what? So long as it's today, I will do today's own, So
absolutely.
And you've been doing great. You've been doing great. So let's go back to the questions while we wait for them. My questions to you. Of course, you've just told us that you think the government can do more. So I'm not going to ask you that question anymore. So you think the government can do more as regards people with disability. And so I also noticed that you describe yourself as a voice. You deliberately say you are a voice and that you speak for women and girls with disability who may not be able to speak for themselves. And so my question is, at what point did you realize that you had a voice? At what point did you make that decision after your revelation that you use your voice for others, for yourself and for others? At what point?
Thank you so much, Ezinne. At the point where I had so many disappointments, I am a woman, and from university days and OND days, so many people would always tell me you are beautiful and all of that. And when it comes to walking with you on the road, they don't want to walk with you on the road, isn't it? They want to come in secretly. They want to come in secretly and sneak out. And in my head, I'm asking myself, can this be what God plans for me? Who knows how many other women who, there's so much pressure all around. And when I was answering earlier, I said women with disabilities face triple jeopardy because we live in a patriarchal society. One, we are women. Of course, women are seen as second-class citizens because of the patriarchy we face. Now, you have a disability. That is number 2. Number 3, your socioeconomic status puts you at a disadvantage that people always find a way to rub it in. That, oh no, without me, they can't do this, they can't do that. Who says that? Who says that as a woman? And that is why I would keep talking about Pastor Bimbo Dukoya. She wasn't actually talking to women with disabilities, but I picked that and keyed into it as a woman with disability. Who says I cannot do well? Who says I cannot thrive? At some point, one of her teachings, she would ask us why we would give up ourselves because of a cup of ice cream and meat pie, and that's talk. That's talk. Like, how would women with disability, I understand the socioeconomic status, it is not funny at all. It is not even funny at all for us as women with disability, because we spend more to move out, to do anything, except you want to be taking Okada. If you have to move out, do things, go for advocacy, do this, do that, you have to be socioeconomically stable to some extent to be able to do these things. So I had to tell myself that, come on, what is happening? And then, Ezinne, I couldn't share. I remember sharing some of my pictures. I couldn't share a full picture. I was still living in isolation. I would only snap my face and post because I didn't know what the world would do to me. Because I had gone out to meet someone at an eatery, because I have always said, meet a stranger at an open space. That has been my mantra. No privacy. So I have gone to a place, and maybe by the time the person saw me walking, the person switched off his phone.
Oh dear.
And I called and called and called and called. And you know what? I bought myself a plate of food. After eating, I called a bike and went back home. It pained me. It pained me like it pained me. But I learned something from it. So many people are taking advantage of women and girls with disability, saying they love them. And they in turn feel, oh, he's doing me a favor. No man is doing anybody a favor. I am bringing value to that table. I am enough. I am enough. And so when I come into your life, I am bringing that value I have into your life, and together we will fulfill our God-given purpose. So I decided that if this could happen to me with my level of education, Ezinne, who knows what is happening to that young lady in the rural area? That one pan wine tapper is deceiving and coming into her hut and going out. Who knows what is happening to that lady in Ajegunle, even here in Lagos, who one guy is telling, I love you, talk your own. And using that to Yoruba, we say, they are using that one to use bread to pack her stew. I said, no.
Oh dear.
We can't keep silent. We can't keep quiet. Enough is enough. Women with disability have to stand up for themselves. I'm not saying be arrogant. I'm not saying, but please know your place and know your worth.
Thank you, Kelechi. Today is quite. I'm speechless. It's quite a deep day. You know, we have to take this conversation beyond the radio, because it's a really deep one. So I'm going to contact you, and we're going to do a series of stuff together after the radio, because a lot of people need to hear what you've got to say. So I'm going to be asking you my final question now, which is to commend you to say you've done very well, Kelechi. You've used
Thank you so much.
the lemon's life throughout you. You have managed to make yourself some lemonades, by navigating your life admirably thus far, and also channeling your passion for courses centered around physically challenged persons. Do you mentor? Are you available to mentor? If yes, please,
Absolutely.
could you please give us your social media handle or your email address, so that anybody listening to you who needs a mentor will kindly contact you, because from the little we've heard this evening, you are really fully packed with no excuses at life, and we want to pass that on to as many girls and as many women as possible.
Thank you so much, Ezinne. To everyone listening, one word, one phrase for you is impossible is dead.
Impossible is dead.
You can only accept that something is impossible when you are dead. As long as you have breath in you, keep striving. Whether you live with disabilities or not, you can get there. My social media handles on Facebook, I'm Sussan Kelechi. On IG, I'm Unique Susie. On Twitter, I'm Susie Unique.
Okay.
Susie Unique. You would have seen my bio and all of that. I talk a lot about disability and all of that. And so I'm open whether you live with disability or not. And then my foundation, like I talked about, is supposed to be a legacy that will outlive me, which will stand as a voice even when I'm gone for persons with or without disability, because I look at other vulnerable groups. I understand that persons with disability are part of the vulnerable group, but I also look at other vulnerable groups like the elderly and some other persons. And so it's still a new organization, and I hope by God's grace when I get partnership, sponsorship and collaboration to officially launch it, and as well celebrate 40 years of surviving poliomyelitis. It has been God. It's not by my power, it's not by my might, it's been God and God alone. And my will.
Thank you, Kelechi. Thank you very much. Very quickly, because we're running out of time now. Do you have any program this Christmas in your foundation that you want people to know about?
Yes, 3rd of December would be International Day for Persons with Disability. Worldwide. It's recognized worldwide, so I would like to celebrate it and, reach out.
Okay.
Because storytelling helps us to reach out to people.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Kelechi. Thank you indeed. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you go because we're running out of time. God bless you. And
God bless you too.
Stay lifted. Up you, woman.
You too. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sussan, for coming on the show. Indeed, you have taught me so much today. Up you, woman. One key thing I'm taking away from today is that disability is not a thing of the mind. So it's possible to be well with a disabled mind, spewing excuses left, right, and center, while a differently abled person is disregarding the excuses and acing all her goals. Education, check. Grooming, check. Poise, check. Multiple streams of income, check. Mothers and nurturers, check. We all know them. We all see them. Warriors, survivors, all of them. Salute. Because of you, the rest of us can be encouraged today to rise up and ditch our excuses and begin our journeys to the UpYou life. If they can, we too can. And we heard it from Kelechi. Impossible is not just nothing. Impossible is dead. I love that one. It's dead. Wow. However, many other physically challenged persons like them are on the streets or holed up in care homes with rundown facilities and with little care for them. These homes only receive visitors a few times during the year, maybe Christmas, New Year, Easter, during someone's birthday, or on special occasions. At other times, no one knows they exist. These people deserve inclusion. They deserve to live their dreams too. And this is where I call on the government and well-meaning individuals to rise up to provide and adopt better policies and defined playing fields to teach them how to fish. Fish giving never does the job. If anything, it cripples the mind. And we want their minds to be active, because it's only an active mind that can dream and then stand up for their dreams and then go on to actualize their dreams. Like Kelechi mentioned, they can actually function as independently as they should be able to if the right policies are put in place for them. To the differently abled woman who listened in today, to this program right now, no one can invalidate you. No one. Your validity comes only from you and from God. You're unique, like our guest Sussan affirms herself on a daily. You're not like any other person. No two people are exactly alike. You have a purpose like no other. Like Kelechi said, that injection that didn't take her life, that merely crippled her legs, wouldn't make her to live a non-productive life. So you have a purpose. Your purpose may be similar to somebody else's purpose, but there's a distinct flavor that only you can bring in the course of finding yourself and achieving your purpose. So please, don't give yourself the excuse of so and so is already doing it. Kelechi is already advocating. Lois is already advocating. Don't worry about that. Bring on your own style of advocacy. bring on your own voice to advocate. The world is waiting for you. So I ask again, just before I round off today, woman, what is your excuse? What really is keeping you from setting out to become all that you can be? I hope you have been inspired. We're not saying it will be easy, but it's time to leave and outgrow the excuses. So no more excuses. We need to be intentional about this. A little at a time, until our muscles grow. And this is where we wrap up today's edition of Up You with Ezinne. It's been another amazing one. A sobering, amazing one, I must say. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody that has been listening to the program. Thank you. It's been 4 amazing weeks on radio, and we are looking forward to doing more with you. Thank you to all our listeners, to advertisers, to the callers, to Frank. Thank you. To the engineers on duty, the amazing Up You team, and the best radio station, WFM 91.7 radio. Till I come your way next week, Saturday. Up you. Stay strong, stay lifted. My name is Ezinne Ekanem. Bye-bye.